water is increasingly important, with climate variability, with sometimes longer droughts, with population growing. Rivers really are where these huge challenges are going to come for people. And so we know we want to maintain our rivers. The challenge is sometimes how. We try to think about how to best manage water. Our rivers are very fragmented. We can look at a place like we're at right now next to a river and we think, rivers just flow along their whole length. But they don't necessarily. So there's obvious barriers like big dams, but there's also smaller barriers. So things like culverts and road crossings, those very much become barriers and stop movement of organisms and species.
Many of the native fish that live in Utah are migratory. They need to move with the seasons to obtain different resources. And so something as simple as a road crossing that could prevent them from reaching different habitats serves to fragment populations. And it's possible, that if one population gets stuck in an area that doesn't have all the resources it needs, that population, becomes much less healthy or perhaps ceases to exist.
Some of the really big water resources questions are whether we should build new dams on the Bear River, whether we should do other types of water management, so maybe focus more on things like conservation or stormwater management, and maintain these natural places that we care about. And it really is why most people live in Utah, is because it's not a cement jungle, because we do have these amazing rivers, amazing wildernesses, and mountains nearby us that we can go explore. I really wanted to show the general public rivers and habitats as I see them. I wanted to pair with artists so that instead of me talking about modeling and variables in models, which is a little bit dry and tends to lose people, I wanted to pair with artists so that there was these beautiful products and people might look at these products and feel something.
You're capturing that moment of attention when you have that fish in your hand and you're looking right at its face, at its head, at its eyes. Everything else goes away. That is the main focus. And I love making that focus large to really let you dive into that moment.
Our work on Decisions Downstream began when Sarah Null approached us with this amazing opportunity to partner with her.
This particular project was really interesting because we sort of had two opposing themes. One is just like the flow of water, but also we have the interruption to the flow of water, because the whole point of the exhibit is to talk about the fragmentation of these fish habitats and how things we do as human beings interrupt the natural flow of fish populations.
In our exhibit, we focus on fish as an indicator species for the health of aquatic habitats. But really, we're looking at a lot more than fish, right? What they represent really are the ecosystems that we all depend on for the water that we use, and that provide us many other services as well, whether that's recreation in the form of fishing or just places to escape to. And we need to be looking at the ways that these ecosystems can be as resilient as possible.
I hope that people think about where their water resources come from. I hope that they get involved and care about Utah's water resources.
Looking specifically at the plight of all these animals and their habitat and the changes that are happening to it are incredibly important for us as a species as we look to figure out how do we sustain ourselves and create a future that is bright for our kids.